There are three things in this world that I choose to strongly respond to overreact to emphasize and focus on. They are consent. Number two is responding to trauma and caring for trauma. And the other one is responding to abuse. And I don't know where these things have come from. I just know that I see an imbalance in the world. I see problems. I see issues. I see a need for care. And I have the opportunity to care and restore some balance. So I would like to be someone that overdoes consent. Sometimes people get upset. They get a bit sick of it. Just go for it. Stop asking all the time. And think of me as quite robotic. And I can be. I can be quite robotic in my communication because I am trying to shift and change my own brain and my own way of being. I'm trying to shift and change my community and my society in its way of being. And that change will be robotic for a time before it becomes integrated. And there will be a new balance available to me with something like consent. But for now, I want to be the change I wish to see. I want to overdo consent for the people that I am seeking consent from, but also for the onlookers of those actions of me seeking high-level consent. And to restore the balance where I think that our world has often underdone consent. I know that people can avoid the obvious request of consent out of fear that it might be refused, there might be rejection. And I have those fears too. But it means so much to me to restore this balance, to increase the amount of consent that is occurring in the world, so that creates a new normal, a new place that is expected and where people are respected, where their yeses and nos are equally valued, their maybes, their yes ands, their yes but, their no not nows are equally respected and loved and cherished and welcomed. I was reflecting with a friend the other day that I can only really fully enjoy a yes from someone, their yes, if I am confident that they can say no. If I make a request of someone and I'm not sure that they could say no to me, then how do I trust that yes? How can I really enjoy receiving my request, the yes to my request, if I am not sure that they could say no? And so when I receive a no or a not now, I tend to thank that person more than when I get a yes. When I get a yes, I thank them for the thing that I've requested. When I get a no, I thank them for the boundary. I thank them for saying no, because it helps me trust that they can say yes. Working in a high school, a lot of my students have come through difficult upbringings. I think that this world has trauma. This world has intergenerational family trauma that has come down from some difficult times that humans have gone through. And how wonderful that we're becoming aware of that. I spent the last few years of my grandmother's life, I spent deeply connected with her and really realized that as an octogenarian, someone in their 80s, that she didn't have YouTube to help her understand about trauma. The books about trauma had not been written, they hadn't been thought of. Yes, there was PTSD from wars, but complex traumas from emotional neglect and different types of abuse did not occur. It occurred, but it was not aware. And so I want to overdo it now. I want to support people to safely have emergent experiences where they feel good enough in their bodies to be able to feel and turn toward difficult sensations and feelings. That is what I would like to do, and I need to do that in a trauma-informed way, knowing that under just about everyone there is something potentially difficult waiting to be surfaced. And I think that's a really good thing, to surface those things, but only under the right circumstances. So being trauma aware is something I want to restore the balance of, and not riding over people, and not kind of supporting the nullification, the nummification, the avoidance of doing the work, of turning toward. And I want to be supportive of that. I support that there's a reason why I have avoided feeling my feelings, and many people avoid feeling their feelings. I respect that, and I understand it. But I want to support more fully feeling, more flourishing in life by understanding the mechanisms of trauma and how they show up, especially in human relating. And the third thing is about abuse, because there's, unfortunately, when we talk about relating from wounded, traumatized humans with each other, there can be harmful ways of attempting to get needs met, and habits and practices that cause perpetual harm and further traumatize people. Especially in intimate relationships, this really upsets me, because I would like to see intimate relationships as a place of safety, a place where people can go to have respite from the difficulties of the world, not for those places to be the most difficult place in the world for them. And so if I hear someone speaking about their situation, then it's a bias that I choose to be on the lookout for abuse, be on the lookout for neglect, be on the lookout for the subtle coercion, control, and manipulation that might be occurring in that relationship. Because I know from many experiences that these things grow subtly over time. They're not there at the start, and they can creep in unnoticed. And so I want to be one of the people that notices, shares what I notice, and supports both all parties to overcome these difficulties. I don't want to condemn anyone for their potentially harmful coping strategy and their way, their habit of being in this world, but I do want to support them to make a shift and a change to more connection, to more harmony, to peace, and still getting their needs met, maybe even better getting their needs met. I believe it just takes education, and these three things, consent, trauma, and abuse, they, in my opinion, need to be a pendulum swing that goes the other way a little bit. Then we can find the balance that we so desire. And that is the kind of world that I wish to live in.